What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Always taking a pre-recording picture. All right.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. You're right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very, very special episode of the Underground Circuit podcast. As you can see, there are many more faces here with us today. Casey and I are so appreciative of everyone joining today for this episode. We're so excited for this episode. This one is going to be an absolute blast. I cannot wait. We're going to go around the room. For everybody watching on or listening to audio only, we have 6 other people here with us joining today, and we're going to go around the room, and everybody can introduce themselves, say hello, say who you are, what you do, and what you love about F1. Let's do that.
Yeah, so, that's better than a fun fact.
Yeah, it's better than a fun fact. We were trying to figure it out beforehand. But Adam, you want to kick us off?
Hey everybody, my name's Adam Medeiros from the Fantasy Formula, and I talk all things F1 fantasy. You can find Terry and I throughout this season. We're part of a really great team over at FanAmp. One thing I love about Formula One is this, the community of people. Whether it's people that watch the show, creators like us coming together, it feels like it's just opened the door to a lot of new relationships, so I'm really grateful for that.
Perfect.
I'll go next.
I guess I'm Mark Schofield. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Did I jump the gun there?
No.
We're off to a great start.
We went through this.
We're doing wonderful.
We're doing great. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zoe.
Sorry, I was told to speak for Hannah.
Yeah.
I am Zoe. Hannah, my podcast co-host, and is unfortunately sick, so she's not here today. But we are the hosts of the Fan Behavior podcast. And my favorite thing about Formula One and kind of what we talk about on our podcast is all the different ways that people love Formula One, whether that's just because they like the racing or they like the off-track stuff or they like talking about the Instagram activity of certain F1 drivers, but that there's lots of different ways to get into Formula One and lots of different things to be interested in.
Love it.
Very good.
Now it's actually my turn, so I won't.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm Mark Schofield. I'm an NFL and Formula One writer for SBNation.com. And what I love about Formula One more than anything else is introducing people to the sport. It's sort of a growing sport here in the United States, and there are a lot of people, both personal friends of mine, family members, that had no idea about Formula One until I started writing about it and dragging them kicking and screaming to the sport, whether it's making them watch races, making them follow me when I'm covering races. And so seeing people fall in love with the sport the way we all have over the years has been the best part of it for me.
Perfect.
Very nice, very nice.
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Tasia. Go ahead.
I'm just making sure I didn't jump anyone.
No, you're good.
Hi guys, I'm Tasia, and I am a F1 content creator, sports, lifestyle, and my favorite thing about F1 is probably the fact that there's so much that intersects with F1. Even if people don't know what F1 is, like a lot of people know who Lewis Hamilton is, or now they know like the F1 movie. So if you're into movies, like now you know what F1 is. If you're into fashion, you know what F1 is. If you're into lifestyle or your favorite celebrities, like you've probably seen them go to an F1 race. So I like that F1 kind of is universal, even if people think that they don't know anything about it. They know someone or something that's attached to it.
Good one.
Alrighty. Ree, go ahead.
My name's Ree, or a lot of people know me as Too Much Sauce online. I am a Formula One, motorsports and food content creator. I'm also known for being part of the Aston Martin Aramco Formula One Team Critic Collective in 2025. I think my favourite part of Formula One, especially at the part that I joined it, is the rise in female fans in motorsports in such a male-dominated sport. And also, just to echo what Adam said, I also love the community part of it, which was a big reason why I became part of it, actually, especially because of Tasia. So it's
Shout
nice
out.
Yeah, exactly. We actually all know each other from the female community. So it's so amazing to be a part of that. So yeah.
All right, Terry, finish this off.
Are we on to me? So I'm Terry. I'm from Coffee Corner Motorsport. I don't know what I am because I do a bit of writing. I do a bit of Formula One fancy with Adam. I do some videos, but I'll cover Formula One news is the best way to describe it. So yeah, obviously for me the best part about being Formula One is the community, meeting people, and also dragging my dad along to be my +1 to everything. To be honest, that's like the coolest thing in the world ever.
I love the videos of you and your dad going to races. I genuinely think it's one of my favorite pieces, like just content out there, is you and your dad going to races. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's probably his. You give me my dad at Silverstone, yeah.
I loved him so much. Like me and him were just having like a right little chat. I absolutely love your dad. He's so amazing.
So what I'm taking from this is everybody loves Terry's dad.
Yes.
And I feel like that's where we can end the episode.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Thanks for joining us.
Everybody.
See you later.
We should have my dad on.
Well, thank you again for joining us today, everybody. We really, really appreciate it. For our listeners, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a little bit of a 2025 recap, but also more so a 2026 preview. What's going to happen for the teams, what we expect out of them. Everybody has their own teams. Some of us has multiple teams. Sorry, Mark. Thank you for doing that. But we're going to just do a little bit of preview. We're going to go over stuff. To start, however, we're going to be doing a section called Quick Hits. And that's going to be, we're going to go around the room, and we're all going to say what the biggest surprise of the season, your most memorable moment, if there's a team radio that you enjoyed from the moment, or like something from last year that went and you were just like, holy crap, that was awesome or scary or dramatic or whatever it was. So I'm going to start. I am going to say my 2025 surprise of the season, I think, was Isaac Hadjar as a whole and as a driver. I think we talk about it so many times, Casey and I, on our show, that it's like the first race was so brutal for him and it was just such a tough, hard moment to watch. And I think it just, him rebounding from that and coming back from that and performing the way that he did, especially when all the talk about the rookies this year leading up to 2025 was kind of centered around Kimi Antonelli. And so I think him just stepping up, leading into that moment and taking charge, it just was incredible. So that is my biggest surprise of the season. I don't know if anybody agrees with me. I hope people agree with me. I hope I'm not the one-off there. But anybody want to chime in?
Yeah, no, Hadjar was what I had at the top of my list for the biggest surprise. I mean, just like you said, coming back from the way it started for him, and then to have the season he did, to get the podium he did, to finish P12 in the drivers, it was just an absolutely incredible debut season for him. I think the other big surprise, sorry, Casey, is just Lewis. I mean, to have the year he did, to not finish on a podium, to have that kind of frustrating season in his debut year with Ferrari, which was obviously such an event. I mean, it was one of those moments when the news broke he was going to Ferrari that transcended the sports world. It didn't matter if you were an NFL show, an NBA show, what sport you covered. You dropped what you were doing to cover Lewis leaving Mercedes to go to Ferrari. It was an event. It was a global event. And he only gets, 2 podiums, both coming in sprint races. So that was an absolutely stunning surprise the entire year.
I agree. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that was my surprise as well. Was I shouldn't have been. I mean, and part of me didn't expect it because it is Lewis Hamilton. Another part of me kind of expected it because it is Ferrari.
Such a good way to put it.
Say it.
As a massive fan of both of the drivers. But yeah, I was depressed watching Lewis Hamilton last season.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I became a full-time Red Bull fan. That's how you know how bad it was.
Wow.
Which, I am a Max fan, but, I genuinely had to, put it out of my mind that, Lewis and Ferrari were just, not killing it. I had to really put it out of my mind if I wanted to continue to love F1 last season. But my biggest surprise was Nico getting the podium. I think some of the surprise podiums in general, I also didn't expect Carlos to get 2 I was I could see 1. That could be fun. I don't know, something crazy happens. We've got a lot of DNFs, and then Williams is up there, but it wasn't that wasn't the case. It was just Carlos being Carlos. So, yeah, I was surprised by some of the podiums for sure.
I agree. That was going to be mine. Like Hajar getting up on the podium, I feel like no one really expected that to happen. But again, going back to Owen's point and Mark's point, the turnaround from Australia last year for that Nico's podium, I just also love seeing. I said it personally when like they get up there on the podium, it's like you're watching a little kid's dream come true right then and there. So I think that's one of my faves. And
Case, you got to experience that firsthand with seeing.
Oh yeah, I got Kimmy's podium
in
yeah.
Montreal. Yeah, because you were there for that race. So watching that moment happen has got to be, was incredible.
Yeah, well, you heard the crowd chanting Kimmy's name. Everyone was. It happens. The running joke that George's podiums or wins are always ruined by another story in F1 from those races is kind of funny because it happens time and time again. But like the crowd was there to cheer for Kimmy. Like that was being, smushed onto the track. Our mom was gonna have a panic attack, but it was worth it. Forced her on.
Adam, Terry, do you guys have a standout moment of the year?
I think the biggest surprise for me, this is just based on my time zone and where I live, was Las Vegas, because I went to sleep with Piastri and Norris P2 and P4, woke up with my phone completely blown up, and I gasped so loud I woke up the whole family with the double disqualification. It brought Max and Oscar tied in the standings. It brought them within 24 points of Lando Norris. There was the strategy issue in Qatar that opened things all the way back up, so that was just a huge shocker to wake up to.
For me, I'm going to go with Christian Horner sacking, if I'm honest.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because he
weathered out.
Yeah. But for me, he kind of like weathered the storm with what you thought was going to bring him down with obviously the off-track stuff, and he kind of got through that, and you kind of resigned that was going to happen now, and then they dropped that bombshell just after Silverstone. So I think for me, it was the timing, how it happened, and what it was related to, because everyone expected it at the beginning of the season with what was going on. No one expected it at that midway point through the season, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I was going to say that, and also Adrian Newey going to Aston Martin just blew my mind. I was like, when I saw the news, I was like, what? Insane. And then to be team principal, like the double, insane.
You know, it's been a very hectic and crazy year when Adrian Newey going to Aston Martin is something that I've completely forgotten about, that I have just had no memory of until you just brought it up. That is insane.
Going off of Adam's point, when Tasia and I found out, we were still at the track when the news broke about them being under investigation. We walked out of the bathroom and we were both like,
well,
I'm sorry, what?
We were down there on the podium, and I remember people were like whispering, and they were like, Lando doesn't look happy. Like he knows, like Lando knows. And we were in the podium, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Because people down there were talking about it, and I was like, ooh, sorry, McLaren fans. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
That was a full-time Red Bull fan.
I'm pretty sure I woke up the next morning from Vegas.
You did.
And Casey texted me, and she was like, it was either like, don't look at your phone or something, or like, did you see what happened? And I was, that
you were like, you were also like, why are you texting me? How are you still awake? I was like, I'm sitting in the airport waiting on the first flight. Yeah. I was like, I've slept a total of 1 hour.
Yeah. It is incredible. I do want to ask, this is kind of like a side juncture, but because we talked about it and Zoe brought it up, this is for Adam. So with Lewis going to Ferrari, and it kind of being, again, what Zoe said, it's Lewis Hamilton, but it's also Ferrari. At what point in the season, in terms of fantasy, was it like the moment of like, okay, I can't rely on Lewis to get me points?
Australia.
It was tricky. Last season, Lewis's initial price was based on his previous performance. So he came into the season a little bit overpriced and unusable already. So he was one of the least used assets in the game because he started expensive, never really showed his worth. He had that moment winning the Chinese Grand Prix, the sprint for the China Grand Prix. And then it sort of went downhill after that. So I don't know a single team that used him that finished in the top 1,000 in the world.
Damn.
That's crazy. That's
Lewis let us down. Just kidding.
Australia. Damn, Terry. Brutal.
Shot fired.
Yeah. So, all right. So 2025 is obviously a crazy, hectic year, just going absolutely insane. But moving forward, going into 2026, I'm excited about this because it gives everybody a chance to talk and dive into their teams and everything. Leading into this episode, I assigned everybody a team they had to do an analysis of for their 2025 season and kind of go into 2026. So I asked everybody to give them a 2025 grade and then a key storyline heading into 2026, and then your prediction where they'll finish in the Constructors' Championship. So we're going to go around the room here. I can list off everybody's teams that they have, but let's start with Mark, because Mark has two teams. He has Mercedes and Haas. I figured the journalist would be okay with pulling double duty.
Journalist? Wait,
this.
what? Let's calm down here.
During NFL crazy season 2, we give them 2 teams.
Yeah,
it's fine.
NFL
it's not like my team's
Mark.
playing in the AFC Championship game tomorrow, right? But that's okay.
Yeah.
Mark, here's more homework for you than anybody else joining us today. But yes, you had Mercedes and Haas, Mark. So why don't you can pick whoever you want to start with, and let's just dive into it.
All right. Well, let's start with Mercedes. As you're about to see, I'm probably an easy grader here. I gave them a B+ for last year. Finished second in the Constructors, obviously a distant second to McLaren, but that counts for something. Held on to that. You get 2 wins, 9 podiums from George. You get 3 podiums from Kimi in his rookie season. And so I think it was a very good year for them. And I think headed into next year, the biggest question is this, and it almost works on 2 different levels. Did they get it right? Like, obviously, we're going to talk a lot about the regulations, the engine changes, the power unit changes, and everything that's coming. But it's the worst kept secret that everybody thinks they're going to be fantastic next year. And whether that's sort of a holdover from the last time we had a regulation set change like this or what, everybody believes they're going to be on the front foot heading into the year. Everybody thinks they're going to have the best power unit. Everybody thinks they're going to be ahead of the game. And so did they really get it right, or are we all just lying to ourselves? And then I think there's the macro level to that, which is, did they get it right with George and Kimi? And, because we had all of the, Max to Mercedes, all of that stuff. The fact that those 2 deals weren't redone until basically COTA, it sort of left that lingering thought that Toto was looking somewhere else. But then you get in the room before the race, Thursday in Austin, and George is talking about his new deal, saying, look, this is my best chance to win a championship. Is that real? Do they really believe that? And I think they do. I think internally they've been looking at 25 as like a reset, get Antonelli up to speed, and head into 26 and really if they did get it right, they will be on the front foot. And so you asked for a prediction, and here it is. I think they did. I think they got it right. I think they win the Constructors' Championship next year.
Ooh. All right. I like that. Very good. So, anybody got anything to
We're off
add
sweating
on
there,
to that?
kids. Let's go.
I'm excited for Mercedes this year. I think that compression ratio advantage could be something that materializes a lot in the first part of the season. Looking at some of the betting lines for the World Drivers' Championship, Russell is a close P2 right now, so Vegas believes in it too.
I'll say we did a Google form for people to give their predictions, and there was more George Russell predictions for World Drivers' Champion than anyone else. We were very shocked to see that, but I do think they get it right also. I do agree.
I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm excited to see Kimi in his sophomore year. I'm a big proponent of the sophomore slump is not a thing, and that once you get into your sophomore year and you have a full year under your belt of doing any sort of sport whatsoever, any sort of new thing, it's just so much more comfortable and you can perform so much better. So it's I'm really excited to see what Kimi can do with these new regulations and in his having one full year under his belt of being a driver. I think that the Lewis Hamilton replacement pressure is off of him now. I think he's proved his worth, and he's in a good spot right now.
I would say I don't think we see the slump he had last year again, in those European races where he was had a stretch of bad luck. Toto had that comment. I think we talked to Mark literally the week that comment came out. That I always said I think kind of maybe lit a fire under him, but I don't think he has that stretch of struggle. Owen's pretty confident we see his first race win early into the season, and I do agree.
All right, so Haas, Mark, your second team.
Yeah, a little bit of a different story here. Haas gets a C. Wasn't really a great year for them. Finished P8 in the Constructors. No podiums from them. I think it was an impressive season from Ollie. To outscore a veteran in Esteban Ocon, I think was impressive. And he had obviously an up and down stretch at times too. And I think the biggest question sort of for them headed into next year is this again the tightest teammate battle on the grid? Because obviously the Lando and Oscar thing got the headlines, but these two only finished 3 points apart. Even with some of Esteban's ups and downs and some of Ollie's ups and downs, they only finished 3 points apart. Ollie out-qualified him 14 times, which I think is a pretty impressive stretch for a rookie driver. But I still think they'll continue to struggle, and I'm not really expecting a ton from them headed into next year. I think they do finish P8 again out of 11 teams, so you step up one run on the ladder, I guess, but not expecting big things from Haas this year.
Does Ollie continue to collect penalty points this upcoming season?
I think so. I mean, he's not really going to change his style of driving, I don't think.
No.
I think this is sort of who he is. It's kind of like Liam Lawson light in a way, I'd say at times. So I don't think he's going to change his style of driving. And I know I always talk to him about it, and I always talked with us in the media about it, how, he needs to sort of maybe not get the elbows out so much. I remember him talking about that a lot in Miami with us on Thursday before the race. But sometimes as an athlete, as a driver, you are who you are. You can't really change that muscle memory. You can't really change that mentality. And you can't change the style that got you here. I mean, to do that now that you're at the pinnacle of motorsport, it asks a lot of a driver to change that in the moment.
I like it.
That's a good, I agree with that. That is going to be, I'm interested to see what Haas can do this year, but I feel like every year I'm always like, oh, maybe this is Haas's year, and they'll figure it out, and then it's always the same Drive to Survive storyline where it's like, and Haas is struggling again, and that's it, and it's like, all right,
Well, they also do have Ferrari's power unit, so you can't really...
See, I wasn't going to go there, Casey, but now that you open that door, that's an issue too.
I mean, they are on track today in Farino, so for their shakedown. I do love their livery, though. It's one of my favorites so far.
I do like it too. All right, so thank you, Mark. That is Mercedes and Haas. And moving forward, Zoe, do you want to talk about Kick Sauber? Or now as they're
why do you have it listed as Kick Sauber?
You know what? I had made it before and I wasn't thinking, so do you want to talk about Audi moving forward? Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so complicated to talk about them, because they're literally two different teams in two different seasons. So Stake finished 9th last year. I gave them a C for this reason, even though they finished 9th, which wasn't the best, obviously, but Nico gets his first podium, and that was such a highlight for the team, obviously, for Nico. Who would have ever imagined that of all of the seasons that Nico's had in Formula One, that this was the season where he gets his first podium is pretty crazy. Yeah. I also give them an average score because I think they found a really great talent in Gabby. I think Gabby he was very under the radar last season with all the other rookies. I think mostly because just the state car wasn't that great, so he wasn't given the chance to show what he's capable of. But I think he is a really solid driver. I think he is going to be a great driver going into his future. Now, going to Audi, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen with them because they're so new. Everything is so new, so there's nothing to go off of. Honestly, my gut instinct is that I would not be surprised if they finish last. Just because they are so new. Now, because they're so new, they could also do super well too. But I also think they're going to get a lot of grace I don't think anyone's expecting much from them. And I don't think if they finish lower on the constructors' standings, anyone's going to be like, oh my God, Audi, they're so terrible. I think people kind of expect them to have a slow build in their Formula One life. So and my other prediction for this season is I do think Gabby will beat Nico pretty handedly.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I have to ask everybody since we're on the topic. What do we think about the Audi livery?
I wouldn't eat it.
I like it.
I said it was kind of boring, but I don't know. Now I see it. When I see it more, I'm like, wait, I think I kind of like it. I don't know. I'm feeling I'm just weird with change. That's probably just a me thing. So it's just different, and I'm just like, I don't know, but it's fine, I guess.
I also think because we're so used to other cars having so many sponsors on it, it looks a little bare because they don't have as much as they used to have. Or they could have. But I think it's going to grow on me, I think. I think that silver will look nice under a night race light and stuff, but I love the rear wing. I will say the rear wing's my favorite with their logo on the back.
See, I'm not sure if it's whether or not it's a livery or the fact it's the same as that concept one that we saw.
Exactly.
And I think that might be hindering it because I was expecting something different, from the concept to this one. So I'm not sure if it's I hate the livery or I hate the fact they just rolled out the same car with some sponsors and put a gloss coat on it, because that's what it feels like with all that ceremony they had and the never-ending stairs and everything.
So that was my biggest thing with it. Was it's a good, if you look at it standalone, it's a good livery. I think it's nice, but the fact that it's not changed at all from that concept is what bothered me about it. Is that it was this large presentation, and it was like, hey, here's the same car. And I said it to Casey the other day, but I was like, your reveal if you're gonna do that, your reveal could have been an email. It literally could have been, hey, here's the car. There you go.
They could have done a Haas, done it online.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yeah, or Mercedes, just post it.
Post it.
Or even like the Ferrari reveal, where it's literally like the 5-second video that you get on the YouTube, and it's like, there you go, there's a car. It was just it bothered me.
I will say we also see what other Audi liveries can look like in their other area of motorsport. So I thought they were going to kind of pull like a McLaren where they all match throughout, like IndyCar and F1 match. So I was kind of expecting that for Audi. But I will say I saw the View. Someone posted a video where Nico looks like he's taking the tarp off or whatever. That was a good.
Yeah.
I like that part of the livery launch.
That was the only good part.
Yeah. No, I think I texted Tasia this. I said the music and stuff they had, it reminded me of Aston Martin last year during the F175 event. Like, it just gave luxury, I think I said to Tasia, but yeah.
And then it was kind of like, okay, girl, it's nothing.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for making me feel better about my thoughts with their livery. It was very self-conscious. Terry, would you like to talk about Aston Martin?
So I gave him a D because it's a disappointing season. If you look at where they finished with regards to where you'd expect Aston Martin to finish, they were sort of behind Williams, racing balls just ahead of Haas. So I gave him a D for that. I'm not too sure whether or not the Adrian Newey news kind of skews where Aston Martin are in the concept of things. But for me, you just kind of expected more from him. I mean, in terms of obviously next year, this year, whatever we're calling it now, I think you've got Adrian Newey's first ever car, which is huge excitement, but then you've also got the question marks, which are that Honda power unit. And for me, this isn't the Honda power unit that powered the Red Bull to multiple championships. This is a very different works engine, a very different team behind it. We're hearing that they may be behind, we're hearing that they're not quite up to scratch, and how does that balance into everything? And then there's the ultimate question marks, is there always over the driver lineup of Fernando and Lance, and are those the drivers that, if you've got a competitive car, will be enough to get you podiums, points, and championships? And then, of course, the question mark over Adrian Newey as the team principal. It kind of felt like he was put into that role. It felt like they drew the names out of a hat, if I'm honest, judging by Adrian's reaction. Because he didn't. He's not someone who craves the limelight. People who come across Adrian, he's not someone who wants to thrust himself into that. He prefers being out of the limelight into the background. And the thought of him being front and centre of Aston Martin just kind of doesn't feel. And just because he's like the best designer, that doesn't automatically mean that's going to transpire into the best team principal. So for me, there's lots of question marks, which if they go right, could be an amazing season with the facilities, everything they got going on for them. But then likewise, if something breaks on that one, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Adrian Newey team principal thing. I think I agree. It was a very interesting choice. And I really like the way you put that, like drawing the names out of a hat. It's just like, who's somebody we can put in this chair? And it was like, oh, Adrian? Okay, here you go. And it was just kind of like a weird decision. But it's the biggest thing that I focus on with Aston Martin this year is the fact that it is a Adrian Newey Aston Martin. And that carries a lot of weight. So I'm excited for that aspect.
I agree. I think, I agree with what you said. carries a lot of weight, but at the same time, is that a lot of weight, and then their expectations have to be met. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Fernando Alonso win again, so I could take it.
I think
finally get 33.
everybody would appreciate Fernando Alonso winning a race again. All right, cool. Thank you, Terry. Tasia, would you like to discuss the VCARB?
Yes.
Racing Bulls.
My analysis is not going to be as critical as some people's. Listen, I have a pop culture, girly pop lens on everything. VCARB gets a B- for me because the social media alone is an A+.
Yes.
Them finishing, they finished P6? Midfield, great.
Yeah.
They're a great midfield team. I mean, they just are. But also, I think I kind of forgot how dramatic their first half of the season was. Lawson came back, which he did have a redemption, and thank God. He needed to stay in VCARB longer. VCARB longer, and he ended up he looked more comfortable. He had he got really good points in Monaco, and obviously Hajar killed it this season after the first race when we all were like, oh shit, this might not be good. And the fact that they switched team principals, Red Bull in general just had a lot going on in that first half of the season. So honestly, for them to finish where they finished, I don't think I was really expecting that from how the first half of the season was going for them, just because sometimes with all the noise outside, then inside and then performance, it can kind of hinder on that. But yeah, I think their social media is phenomenal. I mean, they work with great creators. They work with a diverse group most of the time as well. And I just love seeing what they do off track. So I feel like it makes people want to root for them on track. But yeah, and then next year, they have a little bit of a new lineup. So with Arvid and everything like that, I think will be really exciting to watch. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where I feel like they'll kind of be in the same spot, but also with the Ford of it all, I don't know. I feel like I can't say I don't know, this powertrain is really going to take them to the top. I don't know. I'm not a wizard. I can't see the future.
I'm not a wizard.
I have a third eye, but I don't know. When it comes to this...
Come on, you have manifestation skills.
I know. I do. But this I can't see quite yet. But I mean, I think it'll be interesting to say the least. I think it'll be a lot of, I don't know, just trying new things. I mean, I think Liam is locked in, at least with the team, he feels comfortable. So I'm excited to see maybe what he does. But also, like I said, with the Ford of it all, who knows?
I was going to say, I feel like Liam is kind of like Kimi in an aspect. He's not going back and forth between teams or coming in halfway through the season. So he's going to finally have a full season under his belt. And I think he'll feel extra comfortable, and I think he'll succeed. I have high hopes for Lindblad as well. He's also fitting in perfectly with their social media because he's also Gen Z, so I feel like he's coming in with ideas. So he knows what to do. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's probably going to them with ideas for their videos and everything.
He was born in 2007.
No, that makes me feel sold.
2007.
That is disgusting.
That makes me feel sick.
I know.
I was in 6th and 7th grade. That's disgusting.
Okay, no. I was a lawyer in 2007. Okay, none of this 6th grade stuff. I was a lawyer in 2007. How old do you think I feel?
I'd probably mark on this one.
Everybody's just getting outed right now on their ages. I was probably in a movie theater watching Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. I was probably my age.
No, probably.
Yeah, literally, yeah. I also, speaking of the social media, though, I saw Red Bull posted a video with Isaac doing a voiceover, and I was waiting for Max to show up in the video.
He's not doing them.
He's not doing this stuff. I was there's no way he's going to be doing this social media stuff this year.
They're going to use and abuse Isaac, because you know he's up for anything. He looks like he's ready to do any social media trend you put in front of him. Max, no.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about Isaac. He hates it. Like, I interviewed him before Austin. He's like, I hate doing it.
He's just good at it.
I hate doing it.
He's just good.
He's just
yeah.
very.
He's so
but that's
good
what he
at
said.
it.
He's like, clearly I could be a great actor because I don't like doing it, but yet people tell me I look so happy and I must love it. And I'm like, no, I hate it. I literally don't like doing these. So he's just incredibly talented, I guess.
He's a multi-talent person, man.
Yeah.
He's good
He's
to
just.
go.
I feel like he's also just charismatic. So so it just comes across extremely well.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the rest of the videos. Knowing now too that he despises it, it's going to make it even funner to watch. All right, well, wonderful. Ree, would you like to discuss Alpine?
Yeah, I think I've probably got the most unforgettable team from last year, to be honest.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It really was giving nothing. I ranked them an E. It would have been an F, but I do want to give them props for keeping on Franco and just giving him a little bit more of time. Obviously, they had a bit of a hectic year last year. It was a terrible start. Their team principal all of a sudden just went missing and was in all drama of like evading stuff and conspiracies, and I don't even know. They obviously replaced Jack. I think it was in Imola maybe for Franco. I know they scrapped developments of the car very early on and was just focusing on this season coming. It was a very unforgettable year. I think the only takeaway they had was obviously Gasly coming 6th. I think he came in Silverstone. I'm sure they came bottom of the standings. It just wasn't a great year for them. In the politest way possible, I don't expect much more from this year. Maybe they won't come last, but I do expect them to kind of be ranking at the bottom. But I think they've hopefully got a bit more of a stable team and driver lineup. They tried to stabilize things a little bit, and I was really worried that they were going to kind of go on a Red Bull trajectory and just start axing drivers left, right, and centre. But I was glad that they've kind of given Franco the extra time. I do think Gasly's probably extremely outperforming him, but I'm not expecting much, to be honest. But slay that they're here, you know. Good for showing that.
Did you know that they launched their car on a boat?
On a cruise ship?
On an MSC cruise ship? I was watching the reveal, and I think I was so over it by like halfway through. I was like, I understand that they're your sponsor. I don't care that they're your sponsor. I don't need to hear MSC Cruises every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 5 seconds.
Flavio also talked for way too long. They should have cut him off.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like that about all deliveries, though. Like, I know that every year we're not going to come and it's going to be like something crazy, but in my head, I'm like, I want the car to look completely different. I want it to be a different colour. I want it to look extremely different from the year before. And in my head, I always tell myself, because I don't know why, just going off the subject a little bit here, but I thought it'd be a really good idea that if Red Bull had come out with this new livery this year, that VCARB's livery looked like a Diet Red Bull, but they didn't do that, and the car looks exactly the same, so I was a bit sad about that.
We've always said that VCARB's livery should be just like a sugar-free Red Bull or something. Something along those colors. Like we've said it all the time. It would look so nice, I think.
I agree.
The chrome and the light blue, I would love that. It would look beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Adam, Red Bull Racing, do you want to give your analysis?
Let's do it. I think I'm going to save my grade for the end just because there's two very different sides of the garage with this team. So let's see if I can work my way to a grade at the end here. On one side, you've got Max Verstappen. He finished 2 points shy of his 5th World Driver Championship. He was voted Driver of the Year. He had these amazing moments throughout 2025, like his 4P to Suzuka, his 4th in a row at Imola. Maybe had the drive of the season, going from the pit lane to P3 at Interlagos. So even without the fastest car, Max was his usual elite self. But on the other side of the garage, things weren't so rosy. And Liam Lawson had just a wet Australian Grand Prix in the Chinese Sprint weekend to get things right before he was swapped for Yuki Tsunoda. And then by the time Yuki got in, I think we all started to realize that seat is just cursed. Between VCARB and Red Bull, he reached Q3 9 times all season, but Pierre Gasly made Q3 10 times in an Alpine. So there were some struggles in qualifying. And then another tough stat for Yuki was that he joined Red Bull for race 3 at Suzuka, and by race 4, Max had enough points to win the season-long teammate battle. So it was a really imbalanced team throughout the year, but I think that second seat was really just cursed no matter who was in it. So even with Max winning the most races on the grid, scoring 421 points, Red Bull could only manage P3 in the constructors because his teammates combined for just 30 points between the two of them. So it's definitely very different sides of the garage with Red Bull. Like Tasia, I warmed up to them a lot, so I'm going to be generous and give them a B. But if you're a Red Bull fan, I know this year was really below your standards, so I wouldn't be upset if you gave them a lower grade. And so looking forward to 2026, I think the biggest story for me is just how much they've changed. Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, Honda. They're all such a big part of the team's success in their heyday, and they're gone now. And so all of these changes, plus Isaac Hadjar on that second seat, is it enough for Red Bull to overcome McLaren and get back to that glory? And for me, I think they'll get there, but not in year one. This is just a multi-year thing that they're piecing together. So I think they'll come in P3 again just because McLaren and Mercedes have both drivers at the front of the grid and they have everything in order to start the year.
Yeah, it's very good. It's when we talk about like all the things changing just overall in Formula One for this coming year, I always think about like the next biggest changes are just so Red Bull focused. Like it's the car, it's the Christian Horner's gone, Adrian Newey's gone, like Lauren McKees is in. It's such a different atmosphere there, and it's like I'm really excited to see what they do this year because of the entire just like vibe and culture shift that has happened in the past year for them. So I'm really excited about it.
I would say I think I'm excited to see what this year's like for them because of McKee's coming in. I feel like once he came in last year, we automatically knew that he opened up extra parts for Yuki because they were reserving them just for Max. So I feel like we do see. Well, I also have Hadjar now in that seat. I have hope we see the second seat curse leave and Hadjar sticks. I just also love Hadjar, so I would hope that it sticks out for them and stuff. But I just think McKees is the right person for that job. I do think he's excellent at what he can do. He's obviously has a huge history in the sport, so it just makes sense. And yeah, we also, when we did the Google form in the World Constructors Championship, someone just put Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
That was their prediction, because he could win it on his own if he wanted to, but he has. But yeah.
Very good. Very good. So, we have 3 more teams left. Casey, I'm going to go to you next. You have Ferrari, but you're also going to be reading off Hannah's notes for Williams. So if you want,
I can read Hannah's notes for Williams if you want me to.
See, yeah. Start with Hannah, and then we'll jump into for Ferrari.
Please excuse me, I'm reading straight from my iPad because she sent a screenshot. So for Williams, she gave them a B+. She said they finished 5th in the Constructors' Championship with 137 points, 2 podiums, their best result since 2017. Carlos Sainz, obviously, we know, secured both podiums, and Albon contributed a lot of points throughout the year as well, showing that the team is constantly fight in the midfield. Her key storyline for coming up, and I feel like this is very relevant because of yesterday, news that came out, there are just the new regulations for this car. They announced yesterday that they will not be participating in the shakedown test in Barcelona following delays. She has a question, will they still be able to stay competitive? We can talk about that after. And then her 2026 prediction, they'll be in 6th place. With the regulation changes and some early development delays, Williams may struggle with the first few races of the year, but hopefully that they will remain competitive in the midfield. If their development curve is sharp and reliability improves, a 5th place fight could be possible. Which I kind of agree with. I do agree. I do think the news that broke yesterday, people are like, hug your Williams fan friends. It's rough out there. I do think it is disappointing to see because Valls was so vocal about last year stopping development on the 2025 car. They're solely focused on 2026. So to see that there is delays to the point where they're not going to be in Barcelona, like Owen said about Audi the other day, he's disappointed, if that makes sense. It's disappointing to see. So, but I'll ask the question she posed. Do you think they will be able to stay competitive to everyone else?
I'm nervous. I don't know. As a Carlos Sainz fan, I mean, Alex Albon's great too. And just like a Williams supremacy leader, I feel like, I don't know, the news that broke out, I'm a little nervous. But also, like, I think, like what Hannah said in her notes, it could just be really rough. Like, the F1 season is honestly really long. And a lot of things can happen in the first 10 races that can really turn around the other 10 plus, you know? So I think it could be really rough at first, and then things could really turn around. But I don't know. I think James is one to, I don't know, always stay on top of it. So hopefully, you know, things aren't going well at first, that they're whipping someone into shape. All I know is I wish I was in the room. I want to know. I'm nosy. I want to know.
I'm nosy. Zoe, you look like you want to say something too.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like also the fact that they have, if the Mercedes engine is as good as people have said it's going to be, and if it is as like dominant as people say it is, I think that also gives them a good foundation. Like, even if they have these development struggles, hopefully they have the best engine on the grid, and then they can build, and they have two very strong, solid veteran drivers. Like that, I can't emphasize enough how much that is important to a team's development. And that's why, honestly, like a team like VCARB, if they start off on the wrong foot, like it's going to be hard for them because they don't have the experience, whereas Williams does, and they've been through many cycles as drivers. So maybe it'll be rough in the beginning. And like, look at what happened to McLaren. What was that, 2024? They were really bad at the beginning, and then they kicked it into, you know, so anything's possible.
Someone's favorite story, when they were when the wheel stopped, or the steering wheel stopped working, and they had to reboot it in the pit lane.
Right.
Doing a Windows update for Oscar's steering wheel in the middle of the race. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. For breaking down Hannah's notes. Casey, Ferrari.
I'm gonna be real honest. I give them a D for a score. I think.
Wow.
Hard.
I know, as it's no secret they are my faves, but I think looking back, the season was just a huge letdown. There was, obviously with Lewis coming in, it was, Fred had a few seasons, it was Fred, he was still there. You felt like maybe they could finally get it right, but there's always that question in the back of your mind, is Ferrari going to Ferrari? And they did a few times. So I give them a D. Storylines going into next year, again, to kind of echo what we said before, is it going to turn around for both of them? Is it Lewis going to be able to get comfortable with that car, succeed? We obviously know he's going to have a new race engineer as well and thank God, because that was clearly not a relationship working out from race one. And then also, there's already the talks of, is this the last year of Charles Leclerc in red? If they get it wrong, is he going to walk? So I think I do believe if they have an awful season, like if it's worse than last year, they're in deep trouble, unfortunately. Also, like Tasia, I was heavily into the Red Bull cheering this past season as well. But yeah, for a prediction where they finish next year or this season, I feel like they might be the same, like fourth. I feel like if the Mercedes engine is true and strong, Mercedes and McLaren are going to be up there for 1 and 2. And then if Ford is good, Red Bull's also going to be in the fight. And I think it might just be, I think they'll finish fourth again, unfortunately. My Delulu side, we're having Ferrari constructors champs 1, 2, and drivers. But we all know. Yes. Listen, if it happens, I'll come back and I will be obnoxious. But it's definitely not happening.
We'll never hear the end of it if that happens.
No.
I'll hear Casey scream from my house to her apartment. That'll be.
Listen, we only live like 5 minutes away from each other, so it's very possible.
Yeah. Just gonna go out on her balcony and yell my name. Ferrari is it's wild card in my head. Yeah, it's just, you never know what's going to happen with them, and you have the history there, you have the team name, so it's like you think for a little bit and you're like, all right, it's Ferrari. They can do it. They can come back and bounce back from this. And then, like, I'm going to steal your words, like, they're going to Ferrari. They're going to do their thing and somehow kind of screw it up at one point in the season. It's just going to be like a monumental disaster. So it's like, it should be fun.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for any NFL fans, they are the Dallas Cowboys. Like,
yes,
so
they are.
True. Oh my God, and I hate the Dallas
Cowboys, and I love Ferrari. So watching the Dallas Cowboys failure is like music to my ears. But yeah, it's just like all this money, all this fanfare, all this hype, and what do you have to show for it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, it's the perfect analogy, really, because it's like you said, it's such a. Dallas is just so touted as, like, they're America's team and all this history, and yeah, but we've won and everything. I'm sure Mark, can go into so much more detail than I can. But just, yeah, the comparison between Ferrari and Dallas.
Ferrari has
unreal.
won more recently than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
So
that's
true. Because the Dallas
I will also say
about it, and it's been forever. Maybe Ferrari needs their own set of cheerleaders also.
I will say, though, I feel like I've posted this before. Owen and I are obviously clearly Philadelphia sports fans. I feel like it's always, especially this past year, I'll say specifically with the Eagles, there's so much hype they could do it again. And so it's like, being a Philadelphia sports fan has built me to be a Ferrari fan, because the letdown has been there, and I've grown up with it.
You just won, though. You just won.
I'm like, you just won.
We shouldn't be going back.
We just won, and then we lost horrendously. So,
but you still won. Ferrari hasn't.
True.
Yes.
And you beat the Chiefs embarrassingly. Sorry, Zoe. Like you're fine. You're fine. Imagine being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Like,
yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Mark, I feel like you're clawing to be like, let me jump in.
Look, I'm a Patriots fan. I really can't jump in here right now. People are
Even Adam.
Listen. There are first graders out there that have not seen the glory of the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Adam, man, you're not helping. You're not helping, Adam.
There's more point footage from Adam. Don't panic.
So, all right. So again, I'm adding on to the key takeaways from this thing. Everybody loves Terry's dad, and nobody likes the Patriots. That's what
Adam.
That's what I'm taking from this.
Look, there's your show notes right there. Owen.
And the Cowboys. I think we can say no one likes the Cowboys in this
that's
group
true.
too.
Yes, that is a fair
comparing
point.
Ferrari to the Cowboys. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on from Dallas Cowboys and football talk. So I felt like it made sense for Casey and I to have Ferrari and McLaren. But going into McLaren's grade, so I gave them an A for this year. So I really, really wanted to give them an A+, but I felt like the shadow of the team orders and the team management and everything and the driver management was just too great to give them that kind of perfect rating. They need to figure it out going into 2026. And I am a broken record with saying this, but we don't have a number one and number two driver story and plan to manage your drivers, to me, just doesn't work. And it breeds this kind of chaos that you then ultimately have just this shadow over your team that's just like, well, who are they going to choose? And what if, okay, this race is so-and-so, and this race is now Lando or whatever. So that to me is big going into 2026. The two things that, like the two key storylines, I think, is the biggest one is, one, can Lando defend now? I think he has spent so long being the hunter that it's a whole different type of pressure now, being the one that everybody's coming after and then being the hunted. I gotta be honest, I don't think he's going to do it again. I think it's just going to be a whole brand new pressure, and we saw him kind of struggle with last 2 years ago when Max won and everything, and it was like this talk of can Lando do it and everything, and I felt like we saw the cracks kind of show there. So this brand new pressure of being the one that everybody's chasing now, I think is gonna show some cracks again. The other
some
one,
hungry drivers coming up behind.
yeah. The other one that I am honestly very excited about is the Oscar revenge arc that is being talked about this year. I saw a photo the other day. This is for all the nerds out there. I saw a photo the other day. It was like Oscar like basked in like a red light, and then somebody posted it next to a picture of Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars in like red light and like the Sith lightsaber and everything. And I was like, oh, that's good. I was like, that just made me so excited for the season. I really think he's gonna make a run for it this year, Oscar. I think he's gonna come out like swinging, and he's like, all right, Lando had his time. Now it's my turn. We're doing this thing. For their constructors finish, I think they're gonna finish P2 or P3. I don't think they're gonna do it again. And that's kind of for two reasons. I think one, if the rumors are to be believed, I think Mercedes is gonna be crazy. This is like if we're buying into all those things, I think it's going to be hard to beat Mercedes. I think the other part of that is the number two is Red Bull. I think they're also on like a revenge arc, and they're just going to be like, we're coming back. And I think again the whole vibe culture shift is going to play a much bigger role in their success this year. So I'm excited to see that. But yeah, I think P2 or P3 for McLaren. I think they can hold on to it a little bit. Maybe coming out the gate they'll be good and win a couple races, but past then I'm really not too sure. So I'm excited for it, though. I'm excited to see what happens. There is one more team that I forgot.
Wait, I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Stella was asked about everyone's favorite term, papaya rules, at the Autosport Awards the other day, and he basically did say it's staying, so get used to it.
Oh my god.
That just blows away my... All right.
No, I didn't want to cut you off in the middle of your statement.
No, that's totally fine. It's just that sucks. I don't like that.
No, I don't either.
So there is, obviously, we have an 11th team joining this year in Cadillac, and we won't do a whole deep dive into them, but I would like to know everybody's prediction for Constructors' Championships. Where do you think Cadillac is going to finish? I'm going to start with Adam, and then I'll just call out your people's names. Give me your gut response answer. Go ahead. Adam, what do you got?
They're going to be better eventually, but I'm going to say 11th this year.
Okay. Zoe?
I was going to say 10th.
Ree?
I agree. I think it'll be like 10th or 11th.
Terry?
8th.
Mark?
11.
Tasia?
9.
Casey?
10th.
Okay. All right. So
Owen?
everybody's 10th. I'm gonna go 10th. All right. So everybody's thinking like bottom of the pack. It makes sense. It's brand new team, new year, and everything. So okay. All right. We're gonna come back to this moment if they finish like 5th or higher, and I'm gonna be like, wow, we were all so wrong.
You had no hope.
All right, so moving forward into 2026, obviously we kind of said it a couple times, there is some big regulation changes coming to this year and everything. There's, entirely redesigned cars. There's, systems are gone and replaced with different other things. And I just want to talk about that and take kind of like a deeper dive into some of the things that are changing. Most notably, though, I want to talk about DRS no longer being in the sport. It's been replaced by active arrow and manual override mode. Mom for short. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on that. Rhea, I want to start with you. Just kind of kick off the conversation and go from there. What do you think about it? How do you think it's going to affect the field? What are your thoughts on no more DRS?
Well, I'm not too technical with anything, but one thing that I will say is I also really struggle with change. So it's just even going to be really hard for me to be watching it and then not saying the word DRS. Are they going to say mum? What are they going to say? Overtake mode? How are they going to do it in the commentary? That's kind of stuff that I think about. It will be interesting to see. I think it's good to have a change. Ever since I've been watching Formula One, it's pretty much been the same. I know DRS wasn't always here. But I do, it's just going to be it's hard to say. I need to see how it is in the first race to decide if I'm a fan or not. But it's just weird. Such a big part of Formula One is changing. So
yeah, it is going to be a massive change. I saw the video the other day from Maranello with Ferrari doing the testing.
Yeah.
And I think Lewis is driving the car,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you can
it's the
see
front
the wing going up and down.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to be that much. Like, I knew in my head that it was going to move, but like the fact that it almost like practically disappears,
right.
I was like, oh crap! Like it is a lot. So I'm excited to see it. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
what do you think?
it's a massive change, Owen. And earlier you were talking about like with Antonelli and the like sophomore slump and the idea that that's probably out the window. And my only hesitation there, I think generally you're right, is that this is going to be a lot for drivers to get used to. You know, these are functionally different cars with the active aero, and it was amazing to see that in action at Ferrari. So I do wonder if that's going to cause problems for younger drivers, older drivers. You know, if you're a driver like Fernando that's been in the sport forever, now you've got to make these adjustments. You've got to get used to how that handles. How is that acclimation process going to go? How, you know, quickly will they acclimate to it? So I think that's interesting. I also think it's really interesting. I pulled up this email that F1 and the FIA sent. They like tested these terms. They like tested like overtake mode, boost mode, active aero. They like polled over 50,000 fans to find like the right terms because they didn't want it to be too jargony. Like clearly they're almost worried about it too, from just like a fan reaction to it, to how we're on the outside going to be talking about this stuff. So I think that aspect to it is fascinating as well. It's a massive change. And it does give you that sense that, and I always come back to Newey, you know, the new regulation set was always that like proverbial blank slate for him on his drawing board. Does he have this opportunity to do what he's done so many times before, a new regulation set, which is just actually get it right, whether it's a compression ratio, whatever trick he finds? Is that bet that they made to lure him over to Aston Martin going to pay off?
Yeah, it's a great point with Newey. I said I was very excited when he went over to Aston Martin for that same reason. The fact that it was a brand new kind of car to have him build out and design and everything. And we hear about Adrian Newey and the dreaded clipboard, where he's figuring out all the loopholes and the special things he can do for, you know, figuring out how the car works and everything. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be really, really weird, but also, again, like I feel like I'm using the word a lot, like exciting, just to see like what happens. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. Adam, do you think that, jumping again to fantasy, so I know there's a chip in fantasy for DRS. I think it was called DRS. Do you think that they're going to change that? Obviously, they have to get rid of it. But I'd be curious to see what your thoughts on, in terms of the fantasy world, how the shake-up to the regulations is going to affect the standings, and how do you approach that going into fantasy stuff?
Well, I think for sure they're going to change the name. It used to be called the Turbo Driver, or you could do just overtake mode or the boost. I'm sure it's going to get a different name, but what I'm most excited about is the ability to overtake this year. Overtaking totals have gone down each of the last 3 seasons, and they've done so much with these regulation change to improve overtaking. Cars are smaller, wheelbases are smaller. You've got a different profile of the weight coming off the car in front of you, so there'll be less dirty air to contend with. So hopefully that's going to get us back to a point where we have more on-track action, which makes it better watching for us, better scores in fantasy, so we all win.
Very good. Yeah. Like I said, I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to throw this question out to the group. Anybody can jump in. With the new regulation changes, what do you think is the biggest question mark, like, leading into it? Like, is it gonna be like moreover to, is it like, just like, if there's one thing that you're really uncertain about, what is it with these new regulations?
The impact of the power units over the area.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good
What do you dive into that?
Well, you've got yeah, the reset isn't just one fold, it's twofold with the engine modes, with the batteries, everything else. So you're talking not only managing the area, you talk about the drivers learning how to manage the batteries, the engines, and what that does. Yeah, the best car isn't going to be the one that's got the best engine and such potentially. It's going to be the best that combines them both. I think that's really key, because which one's going to be the most dominant? In the past, we've gone back to 2014 Mercedes dominant power unit, absolutely brilliant. But actually now, is that going to be the standout? Because if you've got a dominant engine but then a poor aero, how much is that going to hamper you? So which one is going to be the dominant, if any, or is the best one going to be the two that's combined in the best way? And with half the grid potentially having the Mercedes power unit, then if that is a dominant engine, as McLaren proved, and if you get the aero side right, being that all singing works team is everything that used to be cracked up to back in the old days when you got preference on your engine and everything else that goes with it.
Interesting. I didn't even think of that, but now I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
And when you sum it all together, could it lead to more reliability issues as teams are starting to get it right or wrong to start the year? So it could be a war of attrition too.
Well, we've got used to this engine freeze. So we've been in engine freeze for the past, with the exception of Alpine, everyone's had the same engine. Engine hasn't been back there for so many years. And I feel that with the changes with the active aero, people are forgetting that for the first time in so many years, we've now got potentially engine deficits coming into play here, because they've been so frozen for so long. The performance has been so good, the reliability has been so good, all those factors, all they've had to work on is making these engines reliable, and they've done a great job at doing that. But now you've got a whole new can of worms open with, you can have a fast engine, like Adam says, but unreliable, but potentially you could have an engine that isn't as powerful, but is reliable, that picks up points, or even that coupled with better aero might get you enough points for what you need.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, to me, I'm very curious, and this is kind of going back to what Adam talked about. I'm really curious as to what overtaking is going to be like this year. You know, I mean, like the biggest thing with this, one of the biggest things that was talked about with these regulation changes was that the cars are shorter and skinnier too. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word that for a second. So I'm really curious as to how that is going to affect overtaking, specifically on tracks that are hard to overtake on. Obviously, I think the most notably that comes to mind is Monaco. Yeah. And it's just like, you know, are we going to see more overtakes? Is qualifying going to be less of a important factor with Monaco? You know, like what the deal is going to be there, you know? And again, I'm using Monaco as an example because it's like everybody who watches the sport knows that, you know, Saturday at Monaco is the most important day because it's, if you put it on P1, there's a good chance that you're going to stay there. So I'm curious. I want to talk to Zoe. What do you think about the overtaking and the size of the cars?
I mean, I don't think the size of the car is going to be that. It's not that big of a difference. I mean, it's
right.
It's, you know, I mean, Monaco as an example. Like, I still think it's not going to be. There's going to be maybe one overtake the entire race, maybe. I think the bigger question, and this doesn't really answer your question, but it's more you know, can the older drivers adapt to a new car? And I think we saw that like in the past with other drivers. I won't name names, but like certain drivers just can't figure it out. You know, that it's like they're so used to one generation of car that then when it changes, they like just can't adapt. And so with a team like Cadillac, for example, like you have two veteran drivers, which is great, but also they're both veteran drivers who are used to driving a certain way in a certain car. They both have been out of Formula One for a season. So I think that's like the biggest. Will the rookies have a bigger advantage or the younger drivers have a bigger advantage? Or will the older drivers, because they adapted before, will they be able to adapt again? And that also probably goes back to the overtaking too. Like, will the more experienced drivers figure it out faster? Maybe, maybe not.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Zoe. Like, I think it's a lot of things are up in the air, but I think the thing that I think about the most is just like who's going to adapt. No matter how great the car is, like, I think you still have to have, the driver has to have trust, like, in the car. And I'm just like, who's going to get there quicker? Who's going to, you know, trust that they've got a good car under them or a reliable car under them. So yeah, who's going to adapt, I think, is like the thing that I'm most that I feel like I'll be looking at the most.
No, that's a good point.
That's a very good point, yeah. I like that. That's the point that you bring up, Tasia, about the trust in the car is really good, because I think you hear drivers say so much, like, I'm feeling comfortable in the car, or like, it's just not listening to me, or, I can't get it to do what I'm fighting it the whole time, or everything, So I think is that first turn in Australia going to be crazy, because everybody's kind of just like, I don't know what this car actually does in a race. So it's, what's going to come out of that.
And you never know the conditions in Australia too, so.
True. It could be a wet race right off the bat,
Yeah. I'm never someone to really care about like testing sessions, but I feel like, and even practice sessions, but with everything changing, I feel like for the first, like all the testing sessions, all in the first few races, I feel like I'm really going to want to like, I want to listen to those team radios. I want to see everything. I need 3 screens because I just feel like and it's also so new. Like this is the first big major change that I've seen in F1 since becoming a fan. So I also feel like I need to study. I need to know what's going on.
Take it in.
Gotta do the homework.
Yeah. So
you're going to be taking notes.
Yes. I'm really going to have to be like locked in. Just to, how are my favorite drivers feeling about the car, and like what are their engineers saying, yada yada. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I like that. So the other note that I had written down here is just driver, kind of moves throughout the off season and everything. Obviously, we talked about Arvid coming up to Racing Bulls, but we're also seeing the return of Checo to the grid.
And Bottas.
And Bottas, yes. But how do you think, again, this is open discussion, anybody can kind of jump in. How do you think his return is going to go? Obviously, we all kind of think Cadillac is not going to do that well. How do you think he's going to perform? Do you think he's going to be like their bright shining star, or do you think it's kind of going to be what we saw from Checo in his last few years at Red Bull?
Well, I mean, I think everyone came to the conclusion that it wasn't entirely Checo at Red Bull.
True. Yeah.
So I don't think, if anyone is still holding that over his head going into Cadillac, like, I don't know, no offense. I'm just like, I feel like you're not paying attention, but I think he has one of my favorite drives ever. Like, I always think about Checo going, and that pink BWT, like, I will never forget that win ever. And so I've always really loved watching Checo race. I think it'll be exciting. And I also don't think he's going anywhere for a couple of years. Also just because he brings in such great sponsors and his fan base is insane. So like, I don't think they're going to get rid of Checo for a while. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But I don't know. I think I think Checo's Checo. It's been a season that he hasn't been in F1, but like, I think he'll do what needs to be done.
Yeah. I would say that I'm super excited for both of them, because effectively they're both kind of seen as the number 2 drivers in the teams that they were in before. So I'm just really interested to see who's going to take that number 1 driver spot out of both of them. And I think they both kind of must feel like they have something to prove. They've both been in teams where their counterpart is like such a huge driver. So I'm just interested to see how that story is going to play out of their kind of relationship and how they get on together as well.
No, that's good. That's good. I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, they're coming from teams that also have a history. They know what it takes to win.
Yeah.
So it's like, can they I think they'll be able to apply that. I think Cadillac getting 2 senior veteran drivers to start off was a smart decision to do. But yeah, I think that's a good point. I wasn't thinking of it like that way, but that's an interesting point of view. So.
And I think what's kind of interesting with both of them is that now there are almost no expectations around them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're coming from Mercedes, where you're expected to win. You're expected to be the wingman to Lewis to make sure he gets to the drivers. You're coming from Red Bull. You're expected to win. You're expected to help Max. Now there are no expectations. Most of us thought they'd finish last or second to last here. And you're coming in completely fresh. I think it's incredible that they're launching their car in a Super Bowl ad. It's just the perfect Cadillac move right there, too. And I think it was very smart to have 2 veteran drivers that can give them a ton of feedback, a ton of information,
I think at some point, something I'm curious, maybe 2 years from now, is when Colta slides into one of those seats, because I do think that's their plan.
You read my mind.
When Andretti launched it, look, I remember in that press conference, he said from day one, this is going to be an All-American team with an All-American driver lineup. Well, you get Checo and Colta. That's an All-American driver lineup. I think that's probably their longer-term vision. But I do think it's a fascinating story, and I do think it's like the perfect driver pairing out of the gate. And I'm really excited to see it, even if they do struggle. And I think, as Tasia was saying, if you had any doubt that, Checo struggles down the stretch were more of a Red Bull problem than a Checo problem, like those should have been erased long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also agree about Colton. I didn't want to jump with him.
Tasia, I was going to come back to you right away and ask you about Colton.
I mean, I've just been saying since I started watching IndyCar, I was always saying he's an F1 driver. I always said that. Like, it just made sense to me. Like, the reason why he could never really get ovals to click, and I'm like, it's because he's an F1 driver. Like, it just, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. Like, I can't wait to see what happens. Sorry, Valtteri. Like, I'm still excited to see Valtteri back on the grid, but let's get Colton, and that as soon as possible. I'm ready.
Tasia will be at every race if Colton's in
yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be the new full-time formula. Every freaking week, I will be there. I will be there.
Heineken in a row.
Yes.
Terry, did you want to toss something in?
Yeah, no, I just think there's so many storylines. I think Mark's absolutely right. I mean, Colton's being lined up to take over. It's the super license points thing. Let's all be honest about it. That's what this is. But I also think he comes in with a huge pressure, deviating from Cadillac. Going into F2 is not easy, and he's expected already to walk it. So I think that's like a different sort of conversation, different matter for him, and a whole heap of pressure. But I think for me, they've got two drivers who have the potential to get a result if they're in a position to. So I think for me, there might be a standout performance somewhere, whether it be weather-driven, a Monaco, a situation. You've got two drivers who can capitalise and get points in a situation where an inexperienced driver may not be able to. So I think that might produce like a standout moment for him somewhere along the line where suddenly, both or either driver finds themselves in a position where they go, actually, we can get a really good result out of this race just because something's happened as well to, sort of go in our favour to get us there.
That's a really good point. I think the kind of juxtaposition of Cadillac, the two drivers right now being kind of free from that pressure, like we talked about, but then Colton being, as we all know, the future Cadillac driver, having all this pressure coming into, for F2 and everything, and then eventually, when is he going to come to F1? And I think 2 years is the right timeline, but I'd be really interested to see how he does in F2. And I know like I said, I was going to come back to Tasia anyway because I know she's biggest Colton Herta fan that I know, and she loves him, and I was curious to see what she thought. But the pressure not being on the Cadillac drivers that Checo and Valtteri right now, I think is such a freeing thing. I think it's just such we're not really expected to come out here and perform our heads off and everything and win everything. And I think that is going to lend itself to better performances from them. I think Mark said, they're free from that second seat kind of mentality where it's I'm the backup driver to Max Verstappen and I'm the backup driver to Lewis Hamilton. Now it's I have a chance here to come out and grab that number one spot and run with it. And I think that's a really, really interesting viewpoint for both drivers to have. So I am very, very excited about that.
Well, I also feel like we have seen glimpses of them with that mentality of kind of F it. We have the Valtteri iconic radio of James, it's Valtteri. I'm gonna go win this on my own, and we've seen that from Checo. So seeing that mentality from them for a full season will be interesting to see. And I'm also, speaking of their livery, I have high expectations for the livery, and dropping it during the Super Bowl, during a commercial, will be fun to watch. So
we were saying the other day how they should bring out the car for on the field for halftime. It's Apple's broadcast rights now for F1, and it's the Apple Music halftime show. So it's come on, make it work. Make it interesting. I would love to see something.
Bad
like
Bunny
happen.
drives the car
Bad
out.
Bunny comes out. On
Yeah, he's standing
Full
on it, like
racing.
waving to everyone. Yeah,
That would be sick.
crazy.
It would
That would
Be
be
iconic.
It's just gonna be. I think it's genius for them to drop it during a Super Bowl ad and getting. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I think we all know that the Super Bowl is like the most watched thing on TV in America, and having a Formula One commercial like that is gonna be huge.
I forget who it was. A reporter. Someone was talking about how last year we saw the IndyCar commercials during the Super Bowl and how great that was. And so like Cadillac maybe seeing that was like, oh, that's kind of cool. We also see that there's a Ford and GM battle between the two of them already, kind of. So it's like Ford is also an iconic American brand. So it's feel like Cadillac and GM are like, we did it before you. So, haha.
And both very Detroit too. Wait, that's a lot. There's a lot there. That's a lot going on.
It's a lot of pressure on both of them.
Yeah.
And it's a good American battle in Formula One, which I'm so excited to see it. I think
sounds so American. Sounds so
American.
It does sound so American. You're right. We're doing what we normally do. We're just like, oh, we see something cool, ours now. That is
just take it.
Yeah, that's very American.
But going forward, I think 2026 is going to be a very chaotic and fun year to watch. I want to hear bold predictions from everybody. And if you have something written down, I want to hear it. If it's just like your hottest of hottest takes, we want to hear it, please. So I'm going to go, where's mine? My first one, and I want to kick off the discussion with this. I don't know how hot of a take this is, but I think Arvid Lindblad is going to outscore Liam Lawson at VCARB.
100% agree.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, when I wrote that down, I was like, this feels like in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is going to cause like so many people be like, what are you talking about? But then as soon as I thought about it for a second, I was like, no, people might agree with that one, actually.
Arvid's going to have high highs, and he's going to have low lows.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to have higher highs.
That's good.
I've always just thought, I really hope people don't want to hit me for this, but I've just always thought that Liam is not, like, a standout enough for me. Like, he's now consistent, but I think it would take... I would really need to see something this year to be like, oh wait, okay, he could win. Like I don't see a race winner yet. And so yes, I agree. I personally don't think that's a hot take, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not confused about it, but like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying about Liam. There hasn't been anything yet that I'm like, yeah, you can be a Formula One race winner. I think a lot of the time it gets in his way is his emotions, and I think he gets pretty angry during races sometimes. And obviously, we know Yuki had the same issue when he started, and sometimes it still happens to him. But I think once Liam can kind of maybe get a lock on that, it's going to do him wonders. Mm-hmm. But
I think if Liam can tone down his on-track antics and have some clean racing, that's when maybe things change for him. I mean, we all know how Alonso feels about racing against Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think if he can tone it down a little bit, if he can maybe have some, just like I said, some cleaner racing and wheel to wheel, that's when maybe things change for him. But I also agree that Lindblad outscores him.
I mean, he can be a beast. Like Max is insane. Like I wouldn't mind if he was going, balls to the wall crazy, but it's not giving the same, that same type of like madman, energy.
I like it. Ree, give us your hot take for 2026.
I'm just going to be so delusional and just say that I would really love Lewis to win the World Drivers' Championship. I know it's probably not going to happen, and I do this every single year, but I am staying strong by Lewis, and I am manifesting something amazing. He done really well in the hybrid era before, and I'm hoping this hybrid era is his moment. And I just want him to win his 8th championship and retire at the end of the year and go live his life.
Go out on a high. I agree.
I co-sign that one.
Got a lot of takers on that one. I like it.
It's not Delulu. It's just what we want to see. I feel like at this point we know what he's capable of.
It's the end of his chapter. Like I'm just so sad for him because I just feel like I'm not disputing anything that happened in 2021 and blah 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 whatever. But I just really think if he had got that championship, he would have retired by now. And I just really think that is the end to his story. And it's just really sad to see someone. It's just that final part, and especially now he's gone to Ferrari, it would just be the perfect end. And even more with the struggle that he's been through this year and the last few years at Mercedes. And I am kind of grateful in a way that he's gone through that, because I think he had such a trajectory that it was almost, I don't want to say boring, but it's with any driver. When any driver's dominating for year and year on end, you're like, okay, can we move it on now? And that's a big part of why last year was so exciting, because we're like, who's going to get it? Is it going to be Oscar? Is it going to be Max? Is it going to be Lando? And it's peaked so low that I'm just really hoping that even if he doesn't win it, even if he's like top 3, if he can end it on a high, I mean, I don't think he'll give up until he physically can't drive anymore, unless he gets that last one. But I just would love to see that chapter of his story end, and for him to move on and pass the baton on to someone else. But, yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, I just need him to win at Monza. Like, I would cut
oh my
an
God,
arm
I
off
know.
to see that. Like,
Cut
him
an arm
standing
off.
on the podium in a sea of red, like, fine, just right here, take it off, I'm good. Like,
Take it off.
Clean cut. Yeah. That winning in Monza would be really special, especially like knowing what it means to have a Ferrari win at Monza with Charles's win. It's like seeing him be able to do that. I think would be something truly, truly incredible to witness. I agree with that. Adam, your hot take.
Let me know if this isn't hot enough, but I think by the summer break, Christian Horner is back in the sport somehow. I know the personality is tough, but it's sort of undeniable for the cameras. He's got the money where he could be a team owner. He's got the rumors of getting involved with Alpine. He could wear the team principal hat. We've got a lot of team principals that are entering the year on shaky ground. I think we're going to be stuck with him eventually, and I think it comes in the middle of the year.
I unfortunately don't think that's a hot take either. I think that's a
Inevitable.
real possibility.
If he's at Alpine, that's what they deserve. That's just
No, Flavio and Horner,
Take it.
that's an evil team right there.
That's it. That's a matchup.
and keep that over there.
That's like the worst blunt rotation ever.
The worst.
Not a dream, nightmare.
A sleep paralysis. Horrifying.
Do you think it's in a team principal capacity, Adam, at Alpine? Is that?
I think the most likely thing is probably in an ownership group. He's got the money. The rumor and the interest in Alpine are probably looking for suitors. If you want to think something really crazy, I don't think there's a shakier team principal than Fred Vasseur right now. And if Ferrari don't get it right in the first part of the year, could you imagine the bombshell of Hamilton
I would
and
literally
Christian
not be a
Horner?
Ferrari
I think
fan.
all of us Hamilton fans would explode.
No.
So that could be the hot angle of it.
Lewis would be out. Like, I would never.
I love Lewis
would
and
be-
Charles, but
If I woke up to that headline one day, Christian Horner in as Ferrari team principal, oh my god, I think I would lose my mind.
I log out for the day.
Yeah.
I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done for the day. That's enough internet for today. Yeah.
Mark would be sending you into media day with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to be able to get in. That would be one of those like press conferences that they're like, no, there's a bouncer. They have bouncers at the door anyway, but they'd have like two, and they'd be like, no,
Yeah.
you're not
You
prestigious
can't.
enough to get into this one.
You can't get in here.
This one's for
Oh, that
Crofty
might
and
be-
Crofty alone.
That might be good. That might be the hottest take we have so far. I like that. Terry, can you top that or no?
Yeah, I think we're going to have an absolutely dramatic, silly season.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think there's going to be some bombshell moves because we had all of last year where everyone was just treading water, waiting for the new regulations, seeing who's got it right. And I think we've got, something like 13, 14 drivers potentially out of contract?
It's a lot this year.
It's a lot, with options to extend, all these other bits in there. Everyone deliberately kicked everyone's contract into the new regs, basically. So I think there's a bottleneck which is going to explode with one person. Potentially, if Red Bull don't get the engines right, I think Max is gonna set a domino effect similar to Lewis's one.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I didn't realize how many contracts we had
It's huge
going out at the end of this year.
Yeah, we thought a few years ago was crazy. I think this year is going to be crazy this season.
That's going to be... Do you think one of those bombshell moves will be Max? Does anybody think one of those bombshell moves will be Max?
I think it will. Just depends on which way it goes. Whether it goes Max deciding I've had enough and I'm walking away, or Max going to actually I'm going to go to another team because Red Bull and Ford aren't quite where I want it to be.
Right.
So I think he's the bottleneck either way. I think he deliberately kept everything in place for last year. He deliberately waited. I think he holds every single card with regards to Red Bull now and where they are. I think everything that Max wants to do is under his own umbrella to do what he wants to. We said about the new regime it's all suited towards Max is in the power position now for what he wants to do. And I think that's really key for him in his future in the sport, deciding on what he wants to do. So I think whatever he decides to do, and I think that's coupled with Lewis potentially as well, the pair of them have that ability. If Lewis has another really poor season, then actually what does he do? Does he carry on as we said, or does he go, do you know what, I can't do this anymore? So I think those two, we saw what Lewis did. Can you imagine a silly season where potentially both of those are involved in it? That is just like mind-blowing.
I was going to say, and this is kind of I would say this is my hot take. It's the Oscar and Charles side of it. I think, like I said earlier, Charles ups and leaves. Does Oscar and Mark Webber be like, he's not a number 2 driver. We know Mark Webber doesn't believe in being a number 2 driver. So, where do they go? Yeah, I think we can see some bombshell moves. And if Max puts an inkling of a feeler out there, we know who's taking him because Toto's been on the move for that for a really long time.
Imagine if Max went to Mercedes, if this is so crazy, and if George stayed, the heated rivalry edits we could get from Sorry, Kimmy, but I would lose my mind to see George and Matt. That heated rivalry would be boiling over. I would need to see it.
That would be like I feel like Lewis and Nico level battles on track between
Explosions.
the two of them. Yeah.
Explosions.
That would be entertaining.
Explosions.
Yeah, that would be absolutely insane. Oh, I wasn't even considering Max and George on the same team, but now it's never going to leave my mind. Zoe, your hot take.
Well, okay, I have 2, actually.
I love it.
One of them I think is maybe kind of hot, though it shouldn't be hot, but I think it is hot, which is 2026 is going to be Lance Stroll's last season in Formula One.
Ooh.
I mean, let's be honest, it should have been a long time ago if you were judging purely based off of performance. I just think if Aston Martin wants to be a serious racing team, you have Adrian Newey, you have this new engine, all these things, you cannot tell me that Lance Stroll is like the driver that you want to have as a part of your team. So either he will leave and they will be taken as a serious team, or he will stay and we can never take them seriously. My
That's
other
good.
hot take, and I don't think this is that hot, but maybe some people will think it. Even though it's going to only be his second year in Formula One, I think Isaac Hadjar will be the most competitive teammate Max has ever had, aside from Daniel Ricciardo.
Wow.
Agreed.
I love
No,
that.
I agree.
Agreed.
I can see Isaac being... Like I said, I think the second seat curse is over with Isaac. I think he's going to fulfill those expectations we're all have for him. Yeah, I can absolutely see Isaac bringing it.
My other hot take that I had written down just to have a backup one was that Isaac wins his first race this year. And I don't think that that's like that crazy of a hot take, but I was just like trying to think of something, and I can totally see it happening, and I 100% agree with the Isaac's going to be the most competitive that Max has ever had.
Well, and I said this last week when Owen and I were recording. I feel like we're going to get like an Isaac Kimi, like not championship battle, but in the standings, I think they're going to be very close, and I think it's going to be like a look into the future, what maybe could come with the two of them.
For sure.
But going back to your Lance Stroll one, Zoe, I agree. I also think if the drivers we were just talking about that maybe would want to move to a different team, Aston Martin would have to, I think, take the jump. And
right.
If Max goes back to, yeah. So I agree.
I always thought that the happy middle ground for the whole Lance Stroll situation was him moving over to like Hypercar or something, like some other racing series under Aston Martin. So I think that's the happiest middle ground that they can take. But yeah, if they want to be like, we are contenders for the championship now, that Lance Stroll's got to go. I agree.
My tinfoil hat theory on Lance, too, is this wrist injury that sort of mysteriously popped up. That could be their out.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
that we're dumping a driver that we just couldn't make work over the years. He could say, hey, listen, the wrist is irreparable. I've got to go something. And then that gives him the hole to fill him in.
I forgot about that. That'd be interesting. I mean, going back to that, I think he came back maybe too quick from that, and that's why it's going to continue to hinder him moving forward. He should have taken a little longer to come back, but... Owen?
Apologies. Sorry. So, that is... All right, that's wonderful. Is there anybody I missed for hot takes? Did anybody not say... Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Mark, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know if Adam helps or hurts mine, but Alpine's in the fight for fifth.
Ooh.
And I think... Look, the switch to the Mercedes power unit is obviously going to benefit them because that power unit has been brutal these past couple of years. But Gasly dragged that tractor to a number of Q3s. Like, the fact they even scored any points in that car this past year from him was amazing. And I think the fact that they decided literally around the time that their team principal became a flight risk, that they were just going to kick the season to 26, I think it's going to pay off for them. And I think the decision, as others have said earlier, to bring Franco back was the right one. I think he'll be a high variance driver. Next year he might have some weekends where he's really on it, gets it to Q3, gets points, might have some weeks where he doesn't even sniff Q2. But I think Gasly has been was impressive in that car last year. And then, I guess if you add in Christian Horner, like mid-season to Alpine as team principal / owner, they're in the fight for fifth.
All right. It's the whole Christian Horner thing. I'm still stuck on that. I'm sorry. That is just like...
I had the Alpine thing written down, and then Adam said that. I'm like, I might have to switch here, man. Like, I can't draw attention to this team anymore now.
Sorry.
I mean, it's going to be... I think it's going to be a crazy year. I like that Alpine fighting for fifth prediction. It's going to be... Again, I'm reusing the same words here, but I genuinely just don't know how to describe like what kind of year it's going to be.
It's going to be chaotic.
It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be very fun to watch. All the changes coming over. I mean, even on the consumer side, the changes, with Apple doing the U.S. broadcast rights and everything, and the difference in the cars and what we're going to be able to see through the broadcast and everything. It's going to be really fun. I think that is all we had for everybody. That was the end of our notes. So I'm going to wrap us up here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I truly, truly appreciate it. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Yes.
It is wonderful to talk with everybody, and I know it's a bit of a longer episode for some of our listeners and viewers, but
it's a good episode.
It's a good episode. So thank you so much. All of everybody's social medias here will be in the episode description at the bottom, and everything. We'll tag everybody. So if you guys want to go follow them, and I highly recommend that you go follow all of these wonderful people. They are truly special, one of a kind personalities to follow. We're very happy to know you all and be friends with all of you. So I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that is all. Can't wait for 2026.
We are so bad at closings all the time.
I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad at it.
You need a closer. You need like a closing.